We just cut around all of this.
You
So
can just do the intro now.
okay, all right. Okay, well, welcome to the episode 6 of the If You Know, You Know podcast, episode 6 of the season 2 edition. First of all, welcome to the man who has now snuffed 18 torches in across 2 seasons of Survivor. It is your host, Master General Mike Price. Welcome. And joining me tonight is a man who has now voted out half of the players that he started with on his tribe. It is Lenny Greenfield.
Come on.
Oh,
Oh,
and
hello.
just in time, he's still
Who's this?
muted.
He's
Oh,
in.
and
He's
he's just
in.
in time for his intro. We have the man who was voted out with a hidden immunity idol in his pocket. It's TGRobbo. Welcome to the If You Know You Know podcast, TGRobbo.
Oh, thank you very much, guys. It's
How,
it's really absolute pleasure to be here.
how's it feel to be the first guest?
That is a great honor. I
Yeah.
didn't know this, and I'm honestly surprised that you haven't had some quality from the show this current season. As I missed it.
Well, the
So
first in an illustrious line of guests, I'm sure, TGRobbo. Yeah, great to have you here. What I will say, and I'll cut this shit out. So how much of the season do you actually have we told you about? I assume you're fully spoiled and know everything.
I don't know anything.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, great.
Um,
Yeah, that's great.
I have all I've done this evening is I've binge watched all of the episodes in a row. Um,
Yes, let's go.
and I've even made several pages of notes on each
Wow.
episode. I wanted to come
Fantastic.
prepared.
Well, first of all, TG Robbo, all our guests are desperate to know, given that we only saw a very brief cameo of you in episode 1. How have you been?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. In fact, I'm actually moving up to Glasgow come end of August. So that's
Oh,
a big change. I'm currently living in Crawley. Don't come here; it's a shithole. Um, it's really not very
no
fun.
disrespect to any of our thousands of viewers from Crawley. Big contingent over there.
No, the only good thing about it is you can get out very easily. So very close to the airport, very close to London and Brighton. So that's what it is. But job's going well. How are you doing, Mike? How are you, Mike and Lenny?
Yeah, not too bad. Went for a nice little walk today. Bit of a nettle sting on one finger, but yeah, I'm
Ooh.
hoping to pull through tonight. Mm.
I was actually in a place worse than Crawley last week. I was in Birmingham.
Ooh.
So, you know, one up you there. Horrible city. Horrible, horrible place.
Did you get curious with the stinging nettle there, Mike? How did you end up with just one finger? I'm curious.
I think I reached out to point at a tree, and there was like
Yeah.
the smallest, flimsiest nettle just like creeping out over the edge, and obviously it just draped across my fingers as I pointed, and it was
A little bit embarrassing, to be fair.
yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't a highlight of the day for me. We found a dock
I can
leaf right
imagine.
next to it, and so I had that wrapped around, and I've got home and put some cream on it, but to be honest, it's still hurting.
Oh. Well, sorry
Yeah,
to hear that.
yeah, I know. I'm not going to say it's ruined my day, but it's come pretty close to it.
Well, hopefully we'll lighten it right now. Get some
Yeah.
vibes going.
Okay. So TG Robbo, I know you've got some notes for us, but could you please talk us through just briefly about your Survivor experience just before you played season 1? Because I think you were one of our few players that actually had some idea of a little bit about what the game was.
So I think I came across Survivor on one of those sort of 2, 3 a.m. YouTube binges that you go on from time to time. And then my YouTube suggestions was flooded with clips and sort of compilations of the such. And I kind of just got a bit hooked. I think it was mainly the American show that I was watching. Um, and I loved the whole like survival aspect in the jungle, especially like the fact they had to build their own shelters. And then I also love seeing like the auctions that they used to do,
Mm.
where they'd get like some fried chicken or something going, and people would be all over it, or they'd just be holding out for those clues and immunity idols that could potentially be going at the end. Yeah, great show. The puzzles, maybe I wasn't so much into. I don't know. I like the interpersonal dynamic a bit more and the survival aspect. So that's probably why I ended up being a bit weaker when I was on the show in season 1.
You did okay, to be
I
fair.
did, yeah, I didn't do terribly.
I
I just
think,
didn't have quite this.
there's nothing wrong with being outsmarted by a better player at the end of the day.
Outrageous comments.
But I think, we were hotly tipping you to do well if you came back for season two. Um, I was honestly gutted that you weren't there.
Yeah.
Would you like to just talk a little bit about your experience of Survivor Southampton season one, TGRobbo? Just refresh any of our viewers. Oh, and what I was going to say, I've just remembered, is that myself and Lenny have delved into season one a little bit, and
Oh,
I remember being very complimentary about your gameplay, TGRobbo. I think we felt you were very much handicapped by not knowing other people, and we
Yeah.
felt as if you did very well considering.
yeah, I tried my best. I think at the end of the day, there were a few snakes in the grass that tried to rat me out just because they didn't know me. Well, I mean, Lenny really didn't help my chances. I don't think Max either did. So maybe it was people that knew me that made me get voted out in the end. Honestly, yes, it's a bit interesting thinking back on it. I honestly didn't know what to expect coming into it. I know I'd seen the TV show, but I wasn't sure how it was going to play out in a house in the middle of Southampton. I wasn't expecting the physical challenge of planking to start off with. That was quite intense, and I was sort of a bit taken aback by how well some people did. I didn't play the alphabet one particularly well. I mean, I had to do that backwards, and I just didn't try at all. Um,
You were looking for an idol, though, to be fair,
yeah,
in your
yeah.
defense.
No, I think that idol could have been really, really good. Actually, I think it could have taken a few players off my back for a few rounds, but alas, it didn't work out in the end, did it? Bastard. Yeah, no, but I really enjoyed it, and I was really gutted not to be able to make it for the second season, to be honest.
No, we were sad not to
Yeah.
have you. You're definitely among the top of my list.
What have you thought of this season so far?
It's certainly different. Having the two tribes that gives a very different dynamic, although one is clearly a bit inferior than the other. Not naming names.
I'm not gonna lie, when I made the tribes, I thought it would be the opposite way round. I thought I'd stack the red tribe by accident.
Having five of your players go out in the first 6 rounds is quite interesting. But then the merge is going to be very, very. I think it's made more interesting by the fact that there's an unbalance, if that makes sense, because you're going to see who latches onto who, and who breaks away from the Merak tribe. That would be very interesting, especially since now Will is out, so Noel has one of his cronies thrown to the fire, or completely thrown out. I mean, could come back in the redemption challenge. To be fair, I'm not sure when that's coming around, but I assume soon.
Are there
And
any
do you
obvious differences between season one and two that you found so far, just in terms of maybe like a production viewpoint?
I think the challenges are definitely more similar to the ones that happen in the show. I think we've got that that physical aspect plus the puzzle, which always seems to come and make everything. Well, it comes down to the puzzle, doesn't it? And it does in the show as well. So I like that. I think there's a lot more teamwork involved, but I think you get that with having the two separate tribes, and I like that. I saw there was one bit of footage that was lost. That's a shame. Yeah, sad to see. But I think the editing has been really good as well. Big fan.
Oh,
And the
yeah,
intro
yeah.
sequence. I watched the intro sequence all the way through every single time. I love it to pieces.
I think basically, if you put anything in slow motion, they always look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Either way.
Slow motion dancing in the rain, shirtless. That really, really gets me going.
There's
I
a
think
lot
I
more of
prefer
that
the-
coming up because that was such a long clip. So there's so many little things we did.
I think I prefer the old music though. The music for season one, I think, was better.
Oh, I
That's my
can't
hot
remember the
take.
music for season one.
I think I took the season one music from that was like the All Stars season, and then I was just like, I've got to have new music. So I took that from I think I took that from Heroes versus Villains, but I thought I've got to switch up a little bit. But
Yeah, that makes sense.
so TGRobbo, if you were in season two, what do you think your game plan would have been? As in, like, who would you have tried to align with? Are there any challenges that you watch that you're just like, I would have absolutely smashed that? And you can put yourself on either tribe for this.
Yeah, because there's a very different dynamic between both, isn't it? You have to play differently, because I don't think the Merrick tribe had to really go at each other's throats quite yet. I think potentially allying with a couple of the younger players, because I don't know, they maybe don't know as much about interpersonal dynamics potentially. They've seen very wholesome so far. They haven't been too at each other, so the people that have been going out, I guess newer to Frisbee, so Faris and Zhao, I think Billy has been very humble and sort of supportive, which is nice. So maybe a bit more trustworthy. Same with Holly, as we know her outside of the game as well. I think the ones that I'd like to stay clear of are sort of your players like Noel, Will. Now he's gone. I don't think I'd particularly get on with Isaac either. That sort of the trio there would really annoy me, I think. I mean, the Merrick tribe in general, when the way they've been celebrating has been pissing me off a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
On the flip side, with those nice players, do you think, in a certain way, if you try and team up with them, it's a lot harder because they're not as cutthroat, they're not as down to make alliances straight away. They're a bit more passive.
I think myself, not being one of the most cutthroat people, I could maybe one up some more of the more passive players as opposed to the more cutthroat ones. So I could, team up with them initially and then maybe bring them forwards with me and then become more cutthroat than they are at the end of the game.
Okay, that makes sense.
I really like the alliance that's going on between yourself and Divya at the minute. Big fan of that. Didn't expect it, to be honest, but surprises are welcome.
Yeah, well, I basically just want to be allied with everyone on the Ruba tribe, just to try and save my skin if it comes down to it. And it's basically anyone but me at this point. And it's going to get a bit hairy. We go to tribal council again.
Yeah, and only 4 of you left as well, and an idol floating around. TGRobbo, one of the things that I've heard the most since airing the first few episodes of the season, a lot of people talking and asking about the Wiidge. Could you please explain a little bit more to our listeners and our viewers?
Well, so in second year of university, I think my dad bought me a fridge because we had one fridge between 5 people in a house that was really awful. And we had none of I don't know what they're called, but like the things you put milk in the door. That makes sense?
Right, yeah.
If you know. Yeah, but they're not really shelves, are they? They're like, are they kind of, do you know what I mean? I'm being silly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. I think everyone knows what you mean.
Yeah, okay, all right, cool. They didn't have any of those in that fridge either. So there was just no fridge space at all. And I complained so much. My dad was just like, here, just have a fridge. And I took that fridge with me to Westridge Road, and it became the de facto place that we put the Wii, because the TV was in a very weird place and there's no table. Wii games stacked on top, and then one day I decided to put them all in the fridge and then organize them by how much we played them, and that's the Wiidge.
Did you come up with the name Wiidge?
I don't know.
That's what we were debating last week.
We couldn't remember.
I'd like to claim it if it's going.
Hey, we don't like to claim it. God, we'll have to get Max on eventually, and he can solve it.
Yeah, maybe Veronica as well. Who knows? But, yeah, that's the story of the Wiidge. Sorry if that was in too much detail. Very passionate about the Wiidge, to be fair. It was a great piece of kit.
It's a fan favourite of season 2 so far.
Wonderful.
I think it's had more airtime than some of the Merak tribe, actually.
I was going to say, it's definitely got more airtime than Billy.
TGRobbo, if you've got some notes about any of the other episodes, do you want to take us through any of your takes? What kind of things do you have down?
I mean, straight away from the first episode, I did notice that Noel indirectly called me a weak player, and I wasn't a big fan of that. Not sure why he got that impression. Maybe it's
when he didn't indirectly. He openly called you out in his opening confession.
Yeah, no, I mean, he called me out, but he didn't directly call me weak. He was just like, I wouldn't be mind being with some of the weaker players.
I did make some mistakes in that first series. Most notably, I took out all the chaff at first and let all the good people who'd be fun to watch stay on to the end. But really, I should have taken Beth Jeffrey out when I got the chance. So the second series, I'm not hunting for chaff. I'll take the chaff to the end if it means I win, even if that means I win the final with TGRobbo.
I think he might have claimed that you were among the chaff players, actually.
Yeah, that chaff. Yeah, there you go. That's the
you don't want to be in with the chaff.
No. So, I would have had it out for him if I'd seen that beforehand and was playing. Max also didn't like my comment during the first season.
After watching back the footage from Southampton Survivor Season 1, I can recall comments being made by TGRobbo.
From my experience, Max just follows.
He's a former leader.
These comments shook me to my core, like fingernails on a chalkboard.
I said he follows, he doesn't lead. But so far, he's managed to prove me wrong, actually. I'm been tempted to say he's a bit of a tactical genius so far. I don't know if he's going to last too much longer, but I think he's done very well. Makes me laugh as well, which is always nice. I've got down here sock-tactical dunce. Not particularly sure what that's in reference to, but I think he tried to drop some game and then didn't know who to vote for.
Yeah, that was the whole of last episode, I think. He was just absolutely useless.
Well, no, not that he was useless. He had some good ideas. It's just that he then did the opposite of everything he was trying to do.
Well,
like,
exactly.
At the start of the strategy, he was just like, I want to get rid of Oscar, Noel, or Strath. Like, I have to get rid of one of those. Right at the start, he's speaking to Oscar, and then he makes an alliance with him, then immediately goes and speaks to Noel and Strath, tells them that he's made an alliance with Oscar and Zhao. Then they offer Oscar's name to be voted out. It's one of the people he wants. He then turns it down and then lets them vote off Zhao.
So, seems my notes are serving me well. Viva la Revolution.
Yeah, Viva la Revolution.
If I just go, should I just go through the challenges? Because I've got sort of them detailed out in challenges. So
yeah.
All right, so for the first challenge, I've got down, I think Lenny had a good system going on instead of like...
This the reward challenge in episode 1.
The dot dash, yeah, that one.
Oh, yeah.
I think, yeah, you had a good one. I don't know whether it was the dots or the dashes that you kind of told them where they were placed, but that was pretty good. The second challenge, I have a Strath's leadership written down here. I think he did pretty well. What else? Lucy did some big plays after that challenge. I saving 4 people. That's quite cool. Taking them all out of the vote. Yeah, that really mixed it up. The third immunity challenge, I have bad design written down here, and I think that's in reference to the challenge itself.
Yeah. That was the memory one where the bit of paper blew away.
Bit of paper blew away. But I think that's, and then I have Lenny complain written next to that. So I think that was a link between those two. I've got Billy was good and Ben was bad. I think that's the start of me liking Billy quite a lot actually in this season. Big fan. And then we move on to the tug off. Oscar was a big player in this. I've from what I saw. Winning quite a few of his rounds. Lenny was complaining more here.
It's a bit of a running theme, that, to be fair.
Yeah, it's almost more than Will from what I've seen. That is quite impressive. And then, everyone was speaking about the fact that Will and Isaac were going to go straight for Noel, and that obviously came into effect later with Will being voted out. It came out that Noel got that double vote advantage. I think he's yet to play that. That's going to be pretty huge. I don't know how he's going to get coconut into one of his sentences. That's going to be fun to spot. And then you, Lenny, have Divya's immunity idol. That's a pretty big bit of power you have over her right now.
Yeah, I'm assuming that I still have it at this moment in time.
You do?
Yeah, I mean, even if Divya gets voted off, you have it because it's in your possession.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't try and vote her off, to be honest. That would have been the real play.
Well, then you're not going forward with any allies, are you, Lenny? You're looking like a bit of a snake in the grass.
No, it's only.
But you're going forward with the idol, though. So
the idol, yeah.
Yeah, it's true, I guess.
The idol that expires at the merge.
But let's be honest, good chance we go to tribal council again. I definitely wouldn't rule that out with, at least one challenge left, I've heard.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've seen it in the preview. There's at least one. There've been a lot of talk about big players so far this season, TGRobbo. Who would you say the big, not necessarily the ones to watch, but like the big players in the game?
Oh, like the in quotation marks, like your big players. Okay, I think we're gonna put Noel straight in that mix. He's definitely considered a threat. Will, if he comes back, will probably be considered a big player, and I think he was already.
He called himself a big player in this episode, actually.
I see. Lenny, yeah, Lenny would probably be in there just because he's a returning player. Of the new ones, though, I don't know.
Strathclyde.
Yeah, but he was he not? He was in the previous season as well, no?
No, that's not true.
He wasn't.
Come on,
No, I'm
Tom,
remembering
you were
wrong.
there.
I'm
You were
right. Oh,
there.
yeah, I was there
How
in
do you think he
spirit,
did?
maybe not in
Who are you
mind.
confusing him with? Carolina?
I
Sam
don't know.
Sorensen.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I know. To be fair, yeah, Strath is then the new coming big player, I think.
Let me get your take on the returning players so far this season. So we had
Right.
6 of them. Okay.
Yep.
First of all, we can go through Slaw pretty quickly if you want.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
improvement.
he was growing on me. It was a surprise when he decided to leave. I think he could have grown into the game. I think not knowing people is an advantage, but also kind of plays against you maybe initially as people don't want to sort of open up and trust you because they don't know you outside of the game.
I think that's true.
Yeah. I think it's also, I think he went out fairly early on in the previous season as well.
Yeah, he was a bit
Yeah.
robbed.
So I think, they didn't have a chance to see how he plays. So his strategies sort of haven't been demystified, if that makes sense. And obviously they weren't in this season either, which is a shame, I think.
We've got Oscar, Nolan, Max all on Merak. What do you think of them?
Max, I said some tough comments about him last season. I think he's been living up to the hype, to be honest, living up to, well, surpassing my expectations is what I say. He's been a bit of a legend so far. Oscar. I was hyped up for the big Oscar Archie duel. Safe to say that didn't happen.
Hey, could still happen.
It could still happen. It could still happen. Although I think Oscar will triumph over Archie in this season. He plays a strong but subtle game. I know it's a bit of an oxymoron, but he kind of is one of maybe more dominant players, but he kind of flies under the radar because there are some above him that are more outgoing, more outspoken. Sorry.
He's very sociable, Oscar.
Yeah.
Very
and
easy
he also
to
comes. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say he's very, very likable. So
it's hard to show that in an edit. But, Okay, so we've covered Slaw, Max, and Oscar. What do you think of Noel's gameplay so far in the one round of gameplay that we've seen from him?
Classic Noel gameplay, to be honest. I think he's very, very good at convincing people while not letting on to what he's thinking behind that sort of facade he has. It's going to be very difficult for him to stay maybe post-merge. I think everyone's going to sort of realize what he's going to get up to because of how far he went last season.
But to be fair, he has already done it twice. Like he's made it through a whole season with people doing that, and he's already made it past his first vote.
He plays so hard, Noel, that he just gives
never really know, do you?
Because he's just more than anyone else in the game. I think he goes just all out.
And he's pretty good at the challenges as well a lot of the time.
Yeah,
I think he's very much helping his team.
What about Big Dog? He's already surpassed his previous finish place. I believe he went out round 2, season 1. I think you might have been one of the many to write down his name, TGRobbo.
Yeah, I probably did. I mean, I heard Big Dog was a threat in the first season. That's I didn't really know the man at the time. Someone said Big Dog was a threat. I was all for it.
How do you feel now, knowing that you voted off Big Dog in season 1?
I feel like I really made that season worse with that choice. I mean, I think the whole cast did, to be honest. I think we could have really added to the drama if he'd stayed longer. I think this season we're seeing a bit of a different player. I think he's come out a bit more confident. Bit of a change, which is nice. Still one of the more passive players, though. But I feel like he's more volatile than ever. Knowing him outside, he can flip on a dime, and because he's so nice normally, you don't know when that's going to be.
He can get angry. That's something. Me and Tom the last few months playing pro clubs, occasionally he does just snap.
He does.
Just loses it. Normally with TGRobbo or Oscar. So I'd say Oscar's really got to watch out at the merge for a raging Big Dog.
What's the nature of Big Dog snapping? Does he have a go at people?
Yeah, essentially Tom and Oscar are often frustratingly bad when it comes to pro clubs.
You've been playing it so long, and surely you're a bit better by now.
No. Like, honestly,
whoa, Lenny, no, you can't be bringing out these allegations here.
They're good. They've got better, but so have me and Chris. So they're still, I think Oscar, his decision making sometimes is appalling, and TGRobbo, I don't know. Sometimes Tom, you just sort of capitulate.
I'm very big for getting in my own head, and it doesn't happen in a positive way too often.
No, but when you're on form, you're on form.
Oh no, when I'm on form, I'm on form. Much like Paga last year. when I'm doing well, I'm doing well, and I'm scoring about 10 goals in a session. So yeah, Big Dog will be an interesting watch this season. That's for sure.
How do you think Lenny has been so far?
Been a bit less cutthroat than I expected. Maybe that's because he's not on the same side as Noel. Maybe Noel brings out the worst in him. So something to watch merge if Lenny makes it, of course. Yeah, I think he's just been a bit nicer. I didn't expect him to be nice. I was trying to think of another word there.
I don't think I've done anything that dishonest in either Survivor game so far.
I mean, to be fair, you're holding Divya's idol hostage, and if she gets voted out, then you just get it.
I'm not holding it hostage. I'm doing the girl a favour.
I saw you steered it out of her poor little hands.
She doesn't have pockets.
That is a bit of a logistical error though on Divya's half, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, exactly. I was helping out an ally. Of course, if she asks for it back, I'll definitely give it back.
Maybe I'm associating all your cutthroatness to how I was voted off in the last season, Lenny. That's probably what I'm thinking back to.
At the end of the day, you weren't actually my ally, so
no, I don't think I was anyone's ally. That was my problem. Probably my problem.
TJ, do you have any final takes, or should we get into the episode a little bit?
Lenny's jellyfish impression. I don't know what the hell was going on there. That was definitely a strange moment.
I'll defend that to the very end. I think that was fantastic.
We had a big argument about this in our last episode here.
So a jellyfish, you get stung by a jellyfish, and you've got to piss on it. That's the cure.
Apparently, that's what he was miming.
That's the one cure. So I mimed Divya getting stung, and then I pissed on her leg. Well, I didn't actually. Obviously, just mimed. Would have made great.
Obviously, yeah.
You should have really committed to that mime, Lenny.
Yeah. Would I have been thrown out of the game?
No.
I think this was the final the most recent challenge. You said something about how you didn't want to vote anyone out because you liked everyone so much, and that kind of infers that you didn't like some of the players previously. Do you care to drop any names?
Faris.
Ooh.
He's the guy. He's just so mean to everyone, Faris. No, obviously I liked everyone before, but I think we're just more well bonded on the day after like a few more. The more challenges you go, I think even the Lucy one wasn't nice, but the first few is all right, you know. Like
weeding out the chaff, as Noel would say.
Exactly. No offense to anyone who now considers themselves chaff, but it's what it is.
Just before we get into the episode, I just want to note that we lose TGRobbo. From what I can remember, it's about mid-season in season 1. Basically, everyone that survives next episode will now have technically outlasted TGRobbo. So that's how long this season is in comparison.
Blimey. Just
before we get to the immunity challenge, I've got a big note here. Strath's car's coffin. Lenny, do you want to give us a bit more context about this?
Oh, yeah. So we're on our way back from five-a-side. Strath, a regular driver for the club. And we pull up at the big roundabout at Wide Lane, at a red light in the middle of the roundabout. Oscar Josky Martin's car rolls in next to us. And we were big fans of Fast and Furious at the time. So, you know, a drag race is about to happen. And Strath goes for it, and the clutch just fully breaks on the roundabout. He goes down, and he just can't like lift it back up again. And so the three of us in the car, it was me, Max, and Big Dog. We get out and we push Strath's car off the roundabout, and then Oscar picks us up and we leave him for dead. But obviously, a treasured member like Strath's car had taken us around for a few years. So on the Fast and Furious day last year, we held a very, very somber funeral. Some great music from Max Berline, I believe.
Yeah, he played his keyboard, didn't he?
It was really nice. It was very heartfelt.
I definitely remember letting a few tears go for Strath's car. Obviously, but we couldn't fit the full car in the coffin, so we just had to use a red toy in that box. That used to be the skunk kit box.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know if you had those 4 big boxes when you were kit sec.
No, I had really shitty cardboard boxes that were just
Uh,
decomposing all year.
so someone had bought 4 big clear boxes.
I'm not. Do
Uh,
you know what? I'm not giving Liam Lou credit for that. That was probably Callum Watson.
I think it might have been Rob.
Okay,
Um,
shout out.
but either way, I took that four boxes worth of kit, put all the kit in 2 boxes. Oh, fantastic
There it
photo!
is.
Look how
You
That's
look
happy
very
good.
happy for a funeral,
Tom.
TG.
Yeah, no, I know. I was having a good time. What can I say?
Okay. At least you're wearing black. Didn't we find this tricycle just like dumped outside of the house on Westridge Road? So we just
Yeah,
grabbed it.
very Westridge Road, to be fair.
For those eagle-eyed viewers are paying attention, they should be able to see that that tricycle is just in the back of our garden throughout the whole of season 2. I myself was a pallbearer for the coffin. I remember now. I was one of the people carrying it, and then we had it was quite a large audience from what I can remember. It was great to see so many people turn out, even though Strath did really treat that car very badly.
I distinctly remember him deliberately aquaplaning that car on the way to wide lane.
The number of times I was in that car with him and he was undertaking people. A great memory is when he was looking at other people that had broken down on the motorway and been like, "You can't park there." Absolutely love that. I still find that hilarious every time it's said.
I'll never forget when he almost killed me on the M3.
So I do feel nervous every time I get in his new car as well, because the amount of power that thing has got is quite incredible.
Okay, let's get into the immunity challenge. So I explain what's going on. Okay, everyone knows what's happening in this puzzle, in this challenge. And then we see a little bit of strategy from the teams. First of all, Merak are like, Oscar, you're not on the puzzle, you're sitting out. Very funny from them. And then we go to Ruba and Lenny. You apparently know this puzzle. You recognize the tree puzzle?
I do recognise the tree puzzle. I've watched. It was in one of the seasons of Survivor I'd watched.
Okay.
I'd also seen it in our house when I mistakenly walked in on you in the living room. So I decided,
That sounds a lot more sinister than it was. It was probably just me and Lucas sorting out props, and that was all that was.
yeah, I caught a glimpse of it, and then I was like, well, if it ever comes up, I can't go on that puzzle. For the integrity.
Oh, that's very honourable of you because I thought you were just like, oh yeah, I know the puzzle, but I don't back myself to do it.
I think I would have been awful with the tremor. I think that would have
Yeah.
been a very hard puzzle for me. So I'm glad I wasn't doing it. It didn't look easy. Um,
No, it didn't at all.
what Mike? What would you have to say about? A lot of people have come to me this week saying that puzzle, not the puzzle, that challenge was terribly designed. What the hell was Mike thinking?
Right.
What would you have to say to that?
So what I would say is that it seemed like a really good idea in practice. Okay. The idea behind the challenge was that there's constantly people running back and forth, filling up paper cups from Strath's coffin, which is full of water, into these bottles, which are slowly leaking water out anyway. And it's only when the water's above a certain line that the people can work on the chat on the puzzle. And I thought this is a great idea because it keeps everyone involved. Also, it doesn't matter too much about the numbers. If one tribe's been absolutely decimated, as had been the case, because you guys suck, I thought this is going to be quite a fair one. We can have both tribes have a couple of players on the challenge and everyone else can be doing the running back and forth. And it worked out nicely, but we didn't actually test the challenge in any way before we started. I just thought if I cut some holes in the paper cups, it'll slow it down. And if I cut a couple of holes in the bottles, then it'll slowly be leaking out. So then it'll kind of always give people stuff to do. It just happened that the holes we cut were way too big in the bottles. So it was just leaking out basically faster than they were able to fill it. So we very quickly realized that we are just going to have to pack it with the headband stuff and like the material that we had at the bottom to like slow the leaking down. I think in reality, if there's no holes in the big water bottles, then that's probably a good challenge. And then as soon as you reach the watermark, you just stop and then they can start. And that's the advantage that you get.
I think if there was no holes in one of the two, I think you probably could have pulled it off. Or even if there was like 3 really small holes in the cups. But my cup, for anyone who couldn't see it on the video, more hole than not, I would say. It was a joke. And I realised that on a lot of these challenges I was complaining, but on this one I'd say it was definitely for a good reason. It was an absolute joke.
I did wonder what you were doing with the water, to be honest, because I don't think on the video it quite comes through. I guess how big the hole in your cup was.
If my hand wasn't under it and I'd scoop up a thing of water, I'd be able to get probably a step and a half before the cup would just be empty. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, Lenny and Max had similar problems. You had the hardest ones. The others, the holes weren't quite as big, but they were still bad. And also to start off with, I didn't let anyone plug any of the holes either. It was only later on in the challenge that I decided that that would be allowed. And then Strath kind of hacked it. That's the problem with Merak. All of the people that hack challenges are on that tribe. You've got Noel, you've got Strath, you've got Max, and they're going to do whatever they can to abuse the challenge to give themselves an advantage.
I do think it was a good idea.
I also think it was a good idea, and I was fine letting it go, other than the fact that they'd won every other challenge. I was just like, all right, I've got to put my foot down here. And it was so helpful. And then no one on Ruben did it. So I was just like, all right, well, there's not a lot I can do other than kind of squeeze a bottle. And then after long enough, I was just like, I think we'll call time on this and just go straight to the puzzle.
Yeah. The puzzle looked actually very difficult.
Yeah, I would not have had a clue where to start with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very visual puzzle. I tried it. I ordered these ones from Etsy from a Survivor puzzle maker. It was 3D printed. And I sat down on my own and did it. I mean, not knowing exactly where the pieces went, but essentially knowing vaguely what it's supposed to look like. And it took me, I believe, 9 minutes on my own. So I thought two people doing it, especially when it was essentially four people because they were all just copying each other. Basically managed to get it done in about 10 minutes, but they didn't really know what they were looking for. And they had a lot more pressure than I did. So I had some idea of how long that would take. I just needed basically to give everyone else something to do during the challenge. Hence the answer.
Do you know whether Ben's good at shapes? Let's put him on the challenge thing came from? Because I feel like the memory episode, he distinctly said he wasn't good at shapes.
Yeah, you're right. They said that they knew Billy was good, and I think they picked the people to sit out. I think Oscar, they were like, we're not letting Oscar in this challenge. Also, because they had to have three go, and they couldn't have people that were sat out in the previous challenge because that's the way the rules work.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure who sat out in the. What was the last? Oh, the last one was the puzzle one. Yeah, Ben sat out in the last one, so he had to play. And they basically Strath asked him between him and Max who was the quickest. Max said it was him, so they put Max on the water, running back and forth. So that was how that got decided. But yeah, I mean, just a lot of copying. Do you think Ruba would have had it if there was a screen in between them the whole time, or if they were on separate tables, Lenny?
I think Ruba would have had it if Isaac just hadn't fucked it at the last second.
Okay, well, my next question was, did Isaac blow it? So
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. He's got an open goal in the 95th minute, and he's hit the crossbar.
Well, no, I would say he's done that. He's hit the crossbar, and then it's ricocheted off back into his own goal.
Yeah, no, exactly. This is what I would like to ask you, Tom. As a team, have we been terrible, or have we just been severely unlucky?
From the beginning, it sort of has disadvantaged you. So you've had less players. So especially specifically in the tug off or like the tug of war, having less players and having less choices was a big disadvantage there. I know that Divya was complaining about how there were just a bunch of really strong men, and they were the ones that were chosen for the challenge, which was not great for you guys. I think, challenge 7, you were unlucky because of a bit of a shaky hand situation. I hope you're lucky that allegation's not on you, Lenny, this time.
Come on.
Yeah, you have been maybe a bit unlucky that, some of the Merak players have just been very, very good at those challenges. So maybe just unlucky with people that you've had in your team. But I think everyone's tried to put in their best effort.
Let's head into part 2 of this episode. Let's go into the strategy side. So I've got a question for you, TGRobbo, because my first point is about Divya's idol. Can you tell us a little bit about having an immunity idol in the game of Survivor, just kind of how it changes your gameplay, and when's a good time to play it? Is it ever a good time to tell anyone about it? Do you think what Divya did, I mean, admittedly, decision's out of her hands because Lenny was going to know about it anyway, but we do find in this episode that she has separately told Big Dog about this. Is this a smart idea?
Letting people that you trust know is probably a good idea, but then who do you trust is the difficult thing. I think the way that they went about it in that episode was really good because they didn't have to use the idol at the end of the day, and that's something that I felt pressure not to do. I didn't want to just sort of spaff it and then have no one vote for me and be gone, and that's, at the end of the day, why I didn't play it. I felt safe enough, which was really down to the rest of the players in the tribe just lying to my face, really. I mean, if the game's the game, fair enough, they've won it. So I think it's important to not think the idol is the end play, if that makes sense. I think you need to, if you feel at all like someone might be going behind your back, I think it's important to just play it and get out of the way, and then you won't have the regret that I do for the last 2 years of not having played that idol. So yeah.
But on the flip side, we've got Will, who in the previous episode did play it when he was safe, and probably regrets playing it because he could have used it in this episode to save his skin.
I think that one was tough. He did get 2 votes. I think he knew that he was a bit of a target player. He was named as one of the big players in that tribe. So I don't think it was necessarily a bad decision. I think he was just a bit unlucky with how the next round played out and the fact that you lost so many immunity challenges.
I mean, that's another good point. Did you lose any trust in Will, Lenny, because he had an idol clearly this whole time that he didn't tell you about?
No, I think if I had an idol, I wouldn't tell anyone. I don't think it really ever ends that well if you tell someone. It just increases the chances that people are going to want to vote for you if it gets out. So,
I mean, if you tell the right person, then that's 2 sets of ears out there that there's, and if they're a proper ally to you, they come to you and just like, no, Lenny, it seems to me that there's actually votes on you tonight. I think you're probably going, there's nothing I can do. You play the idol, you save yourself. We can take out the person that we want gone.
I suppose that's true. But I guess in Will's case, you can't begrudge him for not trusting a single person on that tribe. Because, I know the big 4 got brought up a lot, but if we're honest, it really was a big 3, wasn't it?
TGRobbo, it's one of your idol-related regrets that you didn't tell anyone about it. Maybe that's, especially because you didn't know anyone, is that the way that you could have built this trust?
Potentially, I think, if people maybe knew I had it, then they wouldn't have voted for me in the first place. I'm completely honest, I thought people knew that I had it. I thought people saw me scrounge around in that flower pot and that, only one outcome is that. Like, why are you doing that? You must know there's an idol there. You wouldn't be digging through dirt if you didn't know that it was there. Unless you're that one player from Survivor that somehow found all of the immunity idols without even knowing the clues. I can't remember what his name was, but Russell. That was Russell, one of my favourite players of all time. From your perspective, Lenny, if you knew I had an immunity idol in that vote, would you have voted for me still?
I think so. So. I think it would have been. We probably would have been more. Maybe more. I would have been more cautious, just because it's a bit scarier of a thought. But I don't know. I think at the time I felt like you had no idea it was coming. So
I mean, I didn't. You're completely right there. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, a big part of Ollie's game that season was just bluffing that he had stuff, and people were afraid to take him out for that reason.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We see a conversation with you and Divya, Lenny, and then you're talking a bit about the idol, and then we see that you're deliberately keeping this information from Will and Isaac that Divya has the idol. Was this just because at that point you're like, I'm cutting off Will? Was there any reason not to tell Isaac?
Yeah, just to build trust with Divya. I thought, if I can hold on to this idol for her, give it to her when she wants it, don't tell anyone. I mean, I'd trust someone who'd do that for me, so I thought it was a great way to build trust.
We find out that this episode, Big Dog also knows about this idol, and it appears that as of this episode, you're unaware of this. What's your take on this, knowing now that at this point, Divya clearly already told Big Dog?
Yeah, it makes me feel like, there's a bit of a strong alliance going on there between those two. Yeah, I genuinely had no idea that Big Dog knew. But I guess he did also do a good job not to spill the beans to anyone. So Divya is probably quite happy at this point. Going into if a potential tribal council with seemingly 2 very, very strong allies and an idol. So she's gone from one of the bottom of the tribe to maybe the top dog.
I don't know. I think it was dicier than that, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But Lenny, why don't you just talk us through your strategy this round? So you've lost again. There's now only 5 of you. Okay, What are you thinking at that moment? Because you immediately go and speak to Will and Isaac. Are you just at this point like, let me get the target onto Divya and take it from there?
Yeah, it's just set up and it's worked very well. Just set up a match between Will and Divya, and I don't think I've ever felt so safe, to be honest with you. Considering there's only 5 of us, no one even thought of the possibility of voting off me Isaac and Chris. Even when you said it, I don't think anyone was really thinking that was at all a possibility. So
It was very impressive. I was impressed by your sort of. You were straight at Will saying we're all voting Divya, and then you were sort of buddy buddy with Divya afterwards. I was
yeah,
very impressed by your
it's what you've
riz
got to do.
in that situation.
Just play both sides. Make them believe you're on your side. It's great.
Do you think there's anything that Will could have done in that situation, or was he just gone?
I think is well, Divya. If it looked like Isaac and Chris were voting for Divya, I would have probably brought the idol out for her if she asked for it. So I think nothing he can really do. Maybe try and team up with Divya is the only way, but even then, I think me, Chris, and Isaac just all stick together.
I guess that's sort of nice for Will to know then that he played the idol at probably not the optimum time, but that he would have never really have made it through to the merge.
It's not a bad way to go. It's not a bad way to go.
No.
I mean, maybe you could argue that if Will was a bit more helpful in the challenges, then they would have been to Tribal Council so many
Oh,
times.
true.
Lenny's always a backstabber and known for a bit of trickery.
Yeah, it's a joke, really. Like I don't think there's anything I could do to ever shake that reputation. You go rogue in one cutlery challenge that Will wasn't even involved in, and you have a reputation for the rest of your life.
Those gloves were too small.
I don't know. To be fair to the people saying these things, Lenny, we're currently with a person who you've openly admitted to deceiving and blindsiding in just the previous season.
Yeah, but I do admit it's probably true, but it is the fun of the game.
Yeah, I mean, within the context of Survivor, sort of everyone is like we saw what Will did in round 1. He lied to basically everyone.
And like, I'm not. I'll make it clear for anyone who is watching. I'm actually not a backstabber in real life. I'm quite a trustworthy man, I'd say. It's just when you get the chance to lie and deceive, you might as well take it.
At one point, Will talks about Divya having friends on Merak. Are there any friends of Divya's on Merak that you can think of that she's in big danger of teaming up with at the merge, Lenny? Or TGRobbo?
No. Not that Divya has no friends. It's not like a Isaac situation where there's like a very clear no.
Yeah, I tend to agree. It's not looking at the team list.
You don't think she's not going to running straight to Max Berline, is she? At the end of the day.
I can't wait to see those two meet up in the game. I want to see those conversations. Lenny, just before we get to Tribal Council, we see a few people unhappy with Ben Roberts.
Yeah, I can't believe you put that in. I can't believe I said that on camera. Sorry, Ben, if you're watching. You were annoying me at the time. I won't deny that.
I even subtitled it for you.
Bit harsh from me, so yeah, I'm sorry about that. I think I was wound up with a lot of the blues, but Ben was definitely a bit of a ringleader for just little comments sent to the Ruba tribe to try and get under.
He did make a comment in the challenge. During the Tribal Council, Lenny, you say that it's emotionally exhausting.
It was. It genuinely was. Going to tribal that many times and not really having a break, it was really exhausting.
Can you tell TGRobbo how it's different to season 1 in that regard? Because like you're playing with a tribe instead of like just against everyone.
You're just it feels like it gets serious so much quicker because the numbers go down so much quicker. You're just right in the thick of it from, know, maybe not the first round, but maybe round 3 onwards. And by then you're already a bit tired because you haven't had a break, and it's just full on each round, like hard decisions, especially the last Lucy and Will. They were just tough because I didn't really want to load either of them off.
No, I mean, I can very much sympathise. I know what losing in a frisbee team is like, losing in a row over and over again. So it's hard to keep that morale going, and someone that is clinical for getting him in his own head. I'm sure that's difficult to deal with.
At Tribal Council, I suggest to Isaac that he and Will and Divya vote together to take out either you or Big Dog Lenny, because Isaac has no say in this vote. Would this have been a good move for Isaac or not?
No, I don't think so. He's got 2 people that trust him fully. I think if it was me in that situation, I wouldn't be looking to to switch that up at this point.
I think I agree. I think it's important that he has allies other than the potential for Noel in the merge, because they could feel a bit isolated, those two together, as people are fairly certain that's going to happen.
I asked Isaac if previous relationships affect the game. What are you guys' takes on this?
Yes, because in the first season, I was much keener to vote out TGRobbo than just a random person. Someone that I was currently living with. It's way more fun to vote out someone that you're close with, but also it's easier to ally with someone you're close with at the same time. It's a lot harder. I found it a lot harder to sort of build that trust with someone like Slaw, who I didn't know as well.
From my perspective, it's, I guess, the same but slightly different. I don't think I can trust people that I know well even less because of that reason. But that's from my lived experience. But I can also see how knowing people better is advantageous if you are going to be going in together, even though you don't know you are. And it's maybe because you know each other so well, sort of what games people are going to play.
Yeah.
I should have expected it from you and Max.
Yeah, really
just knowing who you are, I really should have seen that coming. I guess I just didn't know when. That was more the issue.
Okay, Divya saves the idol, doesn't play it. What do we think of this? Is this crazy or is it genius?
I think she just had full trust in us that we were going to do the right thing. Vote out Will. But yeah, I think if you genuinely feel like the people are going to vote with you, why not?
Like, surely it's an insane gamble because sure, she thinks she's got an individual alliance with Big Dog and one with you, but she's speaking with Will openly and I'm filming it and Will tells her that he's got an alliance with everyone else other than her. Surely if that's you, at least you're just like, well, I may as well play the idol. If it's a 50-50, like maybe the merge will save me.
I think, potentially she was a bit too trusting of her fellow teammates, but I mean, I think she could know how Lenny's playing this. The fact that he's gone to Will then comes back to her is quite a good sign. And the fact that Lenny has her idol, I guess, is another reason to trust him. I think I felt like Lenny was quite a big instigator in the whole Divya Will vote. That level of trust did help her.
Also, I will say, if from Divya's perspective, if it is Divya and then she asks the idol back, I would just say no. I think that's maybe the problem that she was in, and maybe why she had to take that gamble a little bit more.
Yeah.
So TGRobbo, in season one, it's something that you tried to do, but it was unsuccessful in the moment. I ask you now, because I suspect a few of the players that have been voted out might regret not doing this. When is the best time to flip on an alliance, and what is the best way to go about this?
Ooh, that's a thinker right there. Best way to flip on it. I think you need to have some insurance that someone's backing you up on the other side of it. I think you need to play your votes. You need.
He's broken.
I think he's frozen. He's frozen.
I really thought he just paused to talk.
Me too. Oh, God. I thought you said such a dramatic pause. Damn. All right, well, hopefully we'll get TGRobbo back. What a great place for him to have paused, though. Wow.
I hope you keep that in.
All right. Do you have any insight on this, Lenny? When's a good opportunity to flip on an alliance then?
You don't want to do it too early because you want the benefit of the alliance you're in to take you a few rounds. But
I think surely step one is to do your best to figure out the dynamics of the tribe so you know who the enemy is. There's no point trying to flip on a group of people when you don't know who that group of people is.
Yeah. But I think if you feel like you're an established alliance, say you've got 4 of you.
Yeah.
And maybe you feel like 4 or 5 of you and you feel like you're one of the bottom 2. I think you've got to do it where there's still enough numbers that you don't have to get literally everyone on side.
Hello. My internet died for a second there.
Oh, okay. You froze in a very awkward position.
I see. What
Yeah,
position was that?
you look like you were just really contemplating the question.
I mean, I was. Sorry, Lenny, if I interrupted your answer there.
No, I was waffling.
No, I was just going to say that you've got to. I think the last thing I said before I cut out maybe was that you've got to use your vote as almost currency, and you've got to have some insurance that on the other side of that you have a group of people that are going to be supporting you. Because as soon as you flip yourself, you are a target for that group of people you've left.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's a way you can bargain around it so they don't know that you've voted with the other team. I don't know. Is that's almost you could just say you're voting for someone and then not do it? I mean, I don't know how long it would take for them to catch on that you're the one that's not doing it.
I think it's a good point you raised though. So if you're flipping on an alliance, make sure that. So you're saying make sure you take out the big guy, like the one that's going to strategically never going to forgive you in the game. You want that person out of the game, and then whichever chaff is left over, maybe all they can do is come back to you. Yeah. So I think first step one, analyze exactly who's in the alliance that's opposing you. Step two, take out the correct person from that group. Step three, be at the end with all the chaff.
As Noel said. Yeah.
Simple. Do we want to go to Fan Corner first or have a quick review of the episode title?
Go on, episode title. What have you got?
All right. So there are a few in there. Obviously, we can see what I sort of landed on, but I didn't think there were too many standouts this week for what it could be. So here's what I had written down as I watched the episode. We've got, he's known for a bit of trickery. That was a potential. Easy route to the final. Could have been in there. This one, which I wasn't that serious about, but I thought, I'll see what you say. I'll do everything in my power to vote out Ben Roberts now.
Oh, it's so specific. I love it.
It just wasn't to be, which is what ended up being it. We've got up for snuffing today. Potential. They don't ask how, they ask how many.
I think that's great.
It was a bit long, and then the final one was it just comes down to one vote.
Yeah, they're all a bit long this week, aren't they? There's no
Viva la Revolution.
Yeah, there were no standouts. I think I've got next week sorted because if I can remember rightly, there's a poignant moment at Tribal Council. But yeah, I think it's sort of slim pickings this week, which is odd because we have Will still in the game, and he usually gives us a lot of good sound bites. Speaking of which, we haven't even eulogized Will. We lose Will here. That's a big loss to the season, I think, from an entertainment point of view.
One of I think the funniest person to watch, just a maniac that will say anything to anyone, and I don't think he knows what he's doing half the time, and it's just beautiful.
TGRobbo, is this final destination for Will based off his performance in the first immunity challenge? Was this always going to happen?
I honestly think it's part of the previous relationships that have come into the game. I don't think it's necessarily based off his performance, although it hasn't been fantastic. I think there are players that have potentially performed a bit fairly similar to him in the same tribe. I think the big player energy is a big cause of this one.
And what you think his relationship with Noel as well has done him in?
I don't think it's helped, especially given Noel's notoriety.
Yeah, Lenny is someone who spent so many rounds playing with Will. What do you think of his gameplay?
Manic. I'd probably stay away from the word good. I'd probably stay away from the word bad. It was just entertaining gameplay. If I could put 18 wheels on an island and let them go at it for a week, I'd definitely do that.
That'd be a good watch.
They'd never finish a challenge.
They'd all give up. Yeah, blimey.
Yeah, I will say about Will, anytime we get a new player in the season, that is exactly how I want them to play. Just kind of follow whatever you're feeling at the time. Just go for it. Don't be afraid to take risks. Just do whatever. Like, he was put into such a tough spot at the end of the first challenge. He was the only one that technically was able to see anything. Obviously, everyone was going to blame him. He just had to come out and start throwing names out there, and he did that. It was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, just come out and just really shit talk all the other players. Like it's just so
Yeah.
much fun. It was such a joy to watch back every one of his confessionals that he supplied me. Will, you gave me a lot of joy doing this because editing these is often not that interesting. Like the software itself is such a pain, but every time I got a chance to put Will in there was extremely fun for me. A great entertainment value to the season, in my opinion. And yeah, I hope you come back in Redemption because that's still on the table.
Mm,
I'm not sure what
I hope so too.
a Will Part 2 would look like.
Hopefully, just
Uh,
more of the same.
Yeah, I'm hoping for the same. I'm hoping lots more arguments. Hopefully, there'll be a few people from the Merak tribe who's pissed him off that he can just really go at.
Could they deal with him? I think, yeah, there's potentially a few that wouldn't be able to put up with such, I guess, it's shithousery
Yeah.
in the other tribe.
Yeah, I'd let him
Okay.
join me to take out Ben Roberts at all costs. Uh,
The Ben Roberts ballistic missile over here. All right.
All right. Shall we get into fan corner for this week?
yeah,
See
go on,
what's
mate.
what the word is on the street. Okay. Right, episode 6. Let's see what we've got here. Lenny slyer than I remembered on the Idol play. Poor Divya, but GG's Lenny. Yeah, a lot of people really ready for you to absolutely shaft Divya there, Lenny.
Not something I'd do.
No. Ruba had 5 rounds to think of a cool entrance and came up with nothing. Honestly, I expected better. Yeah, were there any plans of that while you were sat up in the room?
No, we just decided to be classy.
Yeah,
Um, I even gave Zhao a handshake on the way out.
yeah. Oh man. Oh, what was your reaction to see that Zhao had been voted off?
Yeah, I was disappointed. I was hoping it would be one of the big challenge threats and really knock them down a bit, like a Noel, a Strath, an Oscar. Oh, I would have been happy if he was gone.
Mm. A few people outraged about Strath's actions in the challenge. Strath nearly stacking it was hilarious. That was quite funny, but then he
That
used
was
that
funny.
to pick up more crap to put in the bottle. Oh, everyone was devastated when Ruba lost. Obviously, Big Dog and Isaac won't be in any real danger, but arguably that was their fumble there. Yep, fumble Isaac. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, get that transferred.
Do you have the idol though, Divya? Have we checked? Definitely the player who needs it the most right now. TGRobbo, when you watched this, who did you think was going home this episode? Was it Divya or Will? Were you surprised at the outcome?
If you're going to go and speak to two people, the person I'll speak to first, I thought I was frozen there for a second, is generally the one that you're going to be lying to. So I kind of picked up on that from Lenny
Okay.
in that discussion. Again, I don't know if that could have been editing. Very clever editing, if so.
Well, yeah, I mean that was the thing. I would say of all the episodes we've had, this was the most cut and dry vote we've had. It was actually very clear, and I had to cut out the bit where obviously Big Dog, Lenny, and Isaac have their discussion because at no point do they ever really consider getting rid of Divya. Like Isaac never really confirms either way, but Big Dog and Lenny were very clear that they wanted Will gone. So
Yeah.
that was like too obvious to put in the episode because that was just Will's done at that point. But yeah, you were saying Big Dog was a bit passive, but basically Big Dog, Lenny, and Isaac get together, and Big Dog's just like, we're voting Will, and Isaac's just like, well, what? Big Dog's just like, no, we're voting off Will.
Ah.
He's done. He's gone. Like, vote with us. So,
So there you go.
Big
You
Dog,
never know when
Dog,
Big Dog's going to snap, do you?
yeah, laying down the law. He's been saying for a while that Will was on thin ice, and he'd finally had enough of him.
Don't mess with the dog.
Mm.
Do not mess with the dog.
All right, here we go. More stuff. Lenny, you dirty dog. Get rid of Divya and keep the idol. That's genius.
I was thinking today it would have been really funny if I just got up at Tribal Council and played the idol for Will.
It really would have been. That would have been such a
just for no reason.
incredible
Just
play.
to fuck Divya over.
I
For
guarantee
no
next round though, Will still tries to vote you out. He's so
Yeah,
chaotic.
probably.
Okay, everyone did well. Big Dog, I'm not sure you did. Hey, all right, we don't shade Big Dog here. All right, let's not take the piss. Everyone throwing shade on Lenny for being the least trustworthy of the big four, but Isaac staying so quiet would be a red flag if it was me. Yeah, I think I do you think Isaac this was the right move for him because like good move for you and for Big Dog because you're clearly closer to Divya than Will, but Isaac seems to be the opposite.
It puts him in a bit of a scary position for the future where it looks like it would be if it went to another thing, it looks like me and Big Dog really have all the options of do we stick with our main big three or do we go with Divya, who we're more recently teaming up with? So it's maybe a bit scary for him at the moment.
Potentially, he's trying to ride out these troubled times in Ruba Tribe and wait to the merge where he can make some new friends.
But yeah, I think that was what Will tried to do. Though he was just like, let me just get past Lucy, and then hopefully I'll get to the merge. But he ran out of time.
You can't expect your tribe to lose every challenge bar one, you know.
Yeah, he did get a bit unlucky there.
Yeah, Isaac staying loyal to Big Dog there, even after a big push by Mike. Good lad. Yeah, we did discuss this a little bit. Also, I'll cop to it. It was flawed logic by me claiming that just because Divya and Will were voting for each other meant that the other three were in an alliance. That obviously doesn't mean that. Yeah, everyone really surprised that it was Will that left.
Testament to the editor there.
Yeah.
Oh, and everyone was, and we haven't talked about this because it's in the preview for the next episode. But I think my best one yet, guys.
What, your best next time?
Uh-huh.
I love how proud you were of the outfoxed line at the end.
Thank you.
But at the same time, should we be more embarrassed that you didn't come up with the outfoxed line in any of the previous 5 episodes?
Yeah, but this one was quizzing specific.
Is that a quizzing specific?
I think it's yeah.
I don't think that is quizzing specific. I'm going to say it. I'm going to call you out.
Well, I mean, it certainly applies to the situation.
Well, yeah, it applies to the situation of most games, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, it's sort of like outwit, really, and it's like it refers to sort of like a mental challenge, and that's what quizzing is.
Because obviously, there's been no brain power in any of the other challenges.
All right, well, this was the first time I thought of it. The other one was like Billy falling up the stairs, and I was just like, oh, but will it fall down in front of him or some shit?
That was good.
I sat down, and I was just like, how can I think of a quizzing related pun? And then I was sitting there for a little while, and then I was just like, I've struck gold here. This is like the best. I can't believe that that you're saying this. It's not that incredible.
No, I thought it was very good. I just think it's if it was me, I would have thought of it sooner.
Oh, okay. Well, if you want, you can send me the script for the next couple of episodes, and I'll read those out in the most dispassionate way possible.
I really enjoyed the previously on where you just started like you just didn't hold it together through socks.
It was completely unnecessary to include anything about sock in it, but I was just like, I can't not. It's too good. Yeah, this was too much of a thing to not talk about. Okay, well, Lenny, can you tease up next episode for us?
I can, and I'll say.
All right. Do you want to have another go?
Let me think. I think if
you know what, one week we should just do that. We should be like, oh, and in next episode, Lenny's voted out. Yeah, so come watch that.
No, I will say if you enjoy your Wii trivia games, next week is definitely the week for you.
Ooh, that's a week for me.
Anyone that's ever enjoyed a Quiz and Curry recap, next week is the week for you. You will be rewarded for reading all that shit.
All 4 of you. All four of you out there.
All the billions of people that have really enjoyed those. Since we now know that you actually don't know what's going to happen this season, what are your predictions for how the whole thing's going to shake out?
Thing is, I was probably told at some point how the season gone, but given everything going on in my life, I've forgotten. I'm guessing there's, like Lenny's saying, there's a couple more challenges before the merge happens. Would it split into 2 tribes, or does it all come together? Is that the way that
everyone's going to come together into one tribe?
Right, okay, so one sort of mega tribe. Interesting.
Yeah, like what we had at the start of season 1.
Yeah, okay. I think Lenny and Divya could go far if they play it correct. If they play it right, I think that's a fairly strong bit of trust that Divya will have in Lenny if he hasn't used her immunity idol to save someone else by the point of the merge. I think Big Dog, Isaac, and Noel might become a bit of a power throuple if and when that happens. Although Noel, as we know, he will chat shit about anyone and get away with it. Um, but for that reason, he could be voted out of the Merak tribe if they do lose the next immunity challenge. I think who are the big threats on that team currently? I think I could see Strath going, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, I know he's a pretty big player, but I think he could have a target on his back because of it. Could annoy a few people as well. You know, I saw you and Strath get into a bit of a tussle in the last challenge, Lenny. Would you? I don't know who I'd say would win. Who would I like to win?
Who's looking the best right now after 6 episodes? Admittedly, only 1 episode of Merak at Tribal Council. But...
Yeah, no, it's pretty difficult to say because of that. Looking the best in the Ruba tribe, I think I'm gonna have to go for yourself, Lenny. I like the way you're playing this game. Merak tribe. I like Billy. Whether he will actually go as far as I think he will, I want him to, is it's hard to say. I think he might be a bit too maybe naive to some backstabbing potentially. But if he gets together with, Billy and Holly, maybe I could see that happening.
Got a couple more specifics for you, TGRobbo, just for your predictions. What do you think is going to happen with Noel's extra vote advantage? Do you think that's going to be played successfully? Is that going to make a big swing?
I think he might get voted out before he plays it.
Maybe the question is, did Merak lose again?
Did Merak lose again? Unfortunately, I'm not going to back Ruba. I'm going to say that they go to tribal once more. I don't want them to. I'm really pissed off at Merak because their whole dance routine and everything.
Yeah,
it's not fun to watch, especially rooting for Ruba deep down. But I think it's a bit of an England moment where you say we're in the final against Spain. We're probably not gonna bring it home.
Mm. Your head says Merak, but your heart says Ruba.
Yeah.
Okay. So at this point, TGRobbo, we have 6 players currently headed to the Redemption Challenge. We'll take Slaw out of that equation, so we'll put it down to 5. Okay. So we've got Archie, we've got Faris, we've got Lucy, we've got Zhao, and we've got Will so far. We know we're going to have at least one more player join that. Let me say, I don't know. I'll give you 2 picks as to who you think might return into the game.
So I think from all of the discussion within the tribe, within Ruba itself, we know that Will is a pretty strong player. I think physically he's probably the strongest out of those that have been eliminated, unless Zhao is hiding some pristine abs under his t-shirt.
Very strong.
Zhao's legs.
Yeah, he is.
Zhao's legs.
Oh, I forgot about his legs. Yeah,
that man runs for
fun. Does he shave or does he just? No, they just because they're always shining.
Off topic, but do you remember Mike at Christmas when we just saw him running in trousers?
Yeah. Is it like jeans?
They're just on the other side of the road. We're coming back from the brew house quiz. It's just
basically we got to the brew house quiz. Who was it? Was it me, you, Big Dog? Was Noel with us?
Yeah, Noel was there as well.
Right, so it was the 4 of us. We just walked back from the brew house, and then suddenly in the pitch black going up, was it Lodge Road? We just see someone, and I was just like, Zhao? And it was Zhao just wearing normal clothes, just jeans, and a thick coat or something, the most ridiculous outfit, fully black. And this was in the dark as well, just as difficult to see as you could. It's a miracle we spotted him, and then he just came in and was just like, "Oh, right, guys, I'm just out for a really long run."
But jeans is notoriously one of the worst clothing items to do exercise in, right? Come on.
I don't understand it.
Maybe that's how he's got such shiny legs. Been out there. Yeah, that's a good point. So I think, probably those are the 2 physically strongest players. I think Will might have an advantage on any sort of puzzles that come up potentially. I'm trying to remember how he's played with the puzzles.
He's not been great in the challenge.
No, he hasn't with the shapes. He really fumbled that, was he fumbled the shapes, or was it it was the one that you showed him, the blindfolded one?
Oh yeah,
he just gave up. He just couldn't do it.
Left it to blindfolded Lucy to do. An elite level play that.
Yeah, no. Okay, thinking about that, maybe Lucy is the favourite for the thinkers.
Which tribe do you think will win out at the merge?
How does that?
Do you think, will Merak going to take out all of Ruba going to take out all of Merak, or is it just going to be a complete cluster at the merge?
I think it's going to be a bit of a cluster. With Will going, you've had that sort of Isaac, Big Dog, Will trio split up. I think they'll go looking for friends. I would like Lenny and Divya, as my favourite pairing so far to survive together in Merak or in the big tribe together. I think Noel will look for support from Ruba, as I think he's going to be a bit targeted in the next few episodes. I'd think just from people knowing what happened in season 1, to be honest, that's going to play against him quite heavily. So yeah, just complete cluster. Bit of K-Hem,
TGRobbo, do you have any final thoughts?
I've been a bit out of the loop, but this has really got me back into it, and I'm really looking forward to the next episode. In fact, I might just go and watch a few of the previously on and in the next episodes now, because I really like the passion in your voice in those segments, Mike.
Thank you. I imagine I'll be making one each of those tomorrow. I think, I probably will be. Oh, in a word, TGRobbo, who's going home next episode?
Oh, blimey.
Is he frozen again?
No, I haven't frozen. I've frozen in my head. I'm not known for my quick thinking. I'm going to go with. Oh, I don't want it to happen. I'm just going to throw it out there, Divya.
Oh, okay.
It's weird.
Wow, even with an idol, Lenny, you bastard.
It's weird that you backed Ruba tribe to lose, to be honest with you.
TGRobbo picked the only person in the game with a hidden immunity idol to go home in the next episode.
Do you know what? He's bold. He's bold.
I thought I'd be bold.
All right. Is that Merak idol getting found next episode, TGRobbo? And who's finding it?
Yes, and Holly.
Okay. All right. Well, fingers crossed for Holly and fingers crossed for Divya there. Who do you want to come on? Who do you want to see next as a guest, TGRobbo? Put it out into the ether.
I'd love to see Max dial in from South America. That really would make my year.
I'll try and make it happen. I will try and make it happen.
Okay.
If not, I reckon a Noel on this podcast would do quite well.
Maybe another tough ask. I think maybe Max is more likely. All right. We'll put the call out. I'm sure Lenny's putting the feelers out for everyone.
I'm more likely to get Sam Sorensen's cat than Noel, I think.
I'm actually gutted I missed this now. This, it sounds like an incredible time.
Look, Mike, if in 7 years' time you get a place in the garden and you want to, my reputation might have recovered by then.
You're going to have to really make up with people over the next few years.
I just started doing really trustworthy things all the time.
What my concern is, there's so many people that are in relationships. In like a few years' time, they might have all just split up, and then it's going to be very difficult to get everyone back.
Oh, but that makes it even better season.
It
does. I know it does.
Imagine inviting them all. Oh, and slightly lying, saying that the ex wouldn't be there. They all turn up. Just a tribe with 4 split up couples.
But then make it your your wedding reception, and that's what they have to come because they have to because
I thought you were going to say make it the season theme. Just like, okay, everyone, no one knows it yet, but everyone's in the game with an ex.
Oh God!
All right. Well, thank you very much once again, TGRobbo, for guest starring on this week's episode of the If You Know You Know podcast. Lenny, I'm sure that I will see you next week. Hopefully, with you still being in the game.
Hopefully, I can't die.
Unkillable. All right. Lovely to see you, boys.
Cheers.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Mike.
Love you.
Love you.